What's going on, everybody? This is Professor Crypto Banana. In today's video, I'm going to talk about some high risk, high reward plays that I did, and guess what? It did not pan out well for me at all. In fact, if I'm being honest, it really did hurt my portfolio. I bet too much, I put on too much risk, it did not pan out. To add insult to injury, if I would have picked differently or did a little bit of a different time, it could have worked out extremely well. So I gotta sit with that. Now I'm looking at a Bitcoin market that's trading sideways. Altcoins are bleeding out, and I can't take on that much extra risk. So how can I rally up the troops, reposition myself, and share some of the lessons that I learned? I don't think a lot of people necessarily discuss it. They want to talk about the 100x gains because everybody loves talking about the gains, but they don't necessarily talk about when you end up in a crappy situation and how do you dig yourself out. So I'm gonna do that. We'll talk about that. But before we get started, I gotta let you know, hey, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Keep in mind that this is just for entertainment and education purposes only. I'm not a crypto expert, so please always do your own research because crypto is very risky, as you can tell. So back on me, and then we'll do some screenshots and look at charts later. But the main thing I gotta talk about is the mistake number one is I had some blue chips that I said to myself, hey, I'm not gonna sell these. These are my boys, not gonna do it. Guess what I did? I did sell some of them. And then I put them into the what's known as like degen, meaning like the highest risk, highest reward plays, and it did not pan out. Why did I get into that? I was thinking I could do some passive income, meaning I could get some rewards back and then buy back what I sold off. I also followed some Twitter influencers, and some of the a lot of the time they do make good picks. And I figured, okay, I'm gonna risk it, I'm gonna go with them. And dude, out of all the picks that I did, I ended up picking the wrong ones. And if I would have picked the right ones, it would have panned out very, very well. So it's how to deal with the fact of, I did it wrong, should I do it again? Because then maybe that will hit. It's like, no, it's gambling, I should have done better. I need to stick with what I know and what I feel confident with and build off of that. Have a solid foundation and then reposition certain funds that is small that I can risk, that I can do as degen plays. Makes sense? So I got to stick to these rules. Overall, I could always say, well, what about these Twitter influencers or these people on Twitter who are talking about crypto and everybody's saying like, man, you made the best plays, awesome job, dude, thank you so much. Well, guess what? The blame, who does that fall on? You know who it is. It's on me. It's me. I need to research. I need to know. I got to accept the blame. Whatever I do, it's always on me, regardless of what somebody's saying, whatever somebody's promising, whatever somebody's showing. It's just how it is. So I accept full responsibility. I got to dust myself off. I need to research. I got to balance my portfolio better, like have my blue chips and then, descend perhaps in risk. So my most riskiest plays is my smallest position, and then my blue chips, my solid foundation is on top. That's probably how I should do it, and I should keep in mind moving forward. I can also look at the charts better because the charts help you out. If you know how to read the charts, they can tell a story. Even if you don't know what's going on, you can say that looks a little suspicious. Oh, maybe that's a good time to get in. How to battle your own emotions and use logic better. So that's something I'm going to try to be implementing more. And I'm going to also avoid what people say in Discord, or just in general, not in my Discord, but oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. But no, just in general, when you get into a certain project and then you're like, okay, I need some reassurance. What's happening? And you try to get the mood, and you go into the Discord, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, dude, don't worry, just like buy the dip, man. Oh, as soon as this happens, it's for sure going to go back up. But the problem is everybody in the Discord who's messaging and really invested, they're biased, they're putting in the time, and they are, of course, saying this is going to go up. But at the same time, the markets can be behaving way differently, and the people in the Discord like pumping up the price and like doing all the chat, maybe they're already fully invested. They're not the new investors. The people that are selling aren't going to probably say it, so it just represents a small portion. So I got to keep that in mind as well. So how do I proceed? What the heck am I talking about? How am I going to proceed? Well, I'm going to share some charts here quickly. So I mentioned that Bitcoin is trading sideways, as you can tell right here. I think for the next month, again, it's not financial advice, I don't know. Predictions are going to be wrong 6 times before Sunday. I'm going to change everything that I say in this video another 8 times, okay? That's just how it's going to go until I find that right sweet strategy. But I think that Bitcoin is probably going to sell off. I would not be surprised if it hits 43,000, 44,000 due to options expiring end of the year. There's a lot, so then it's really nice to keep that price down low. Keep it real down, real low. So anytime that it breaks above one of these purple lines here, it's called a trend line. This is just how I do it. That means to me, hey, we're kind of looking kind of bullish. It's looking good. You know, if we could break above this one, that'd look real nice. If we break above that one, even better, because then we got a lot of room to run, in my opinion. But looking at this, yeah, it's when you run into this purple line, I'm watching. Are you going over? Or are you going under? Because if it can't break above it, I'm like, ooh, watch out down below. Because now this is hopefully something that we can bounce off of. So, anyways, that's just how I see it. Certain projects that I'm looking at that I'm thinking like, this could be something good. Well, let me give the criteria quick. Essentially, I'm sticking with what I know. I shifted away from my gaming cryptos. I said, no, I gotta rally up the troops. I gotta focus all my capital and try to dig myself out by being like focused on what I know, specific projects, boom, let's get out of this. So that means I'm focusing on the Fantom side, because I know the Fantom side. Fantom is my bae. What else? I like it because Fantom, because it's got a great community, cheap gas fees. I think that got pumped. So, you know what? Let's just pull this thing up here quick, eh? Let's go to CoinMarketcap. So I think it got pumped up real hard because of the Fantom conference, and people were expecting some big announcements, and maybe didn't pan out. You know how it is. It's buy the rumor, sell the news type of deal. So I think that's what happened here in the charts. So I had a real nice retracement back. We went up all the way to 347. Now we're sitting at, I don't know, is that like a 60% correction? So you get the gist. So that's definitely a retracement and a pullback, right? So I like Fantom. They have a lot of developments coming up, such as the centralized exchange with the Binance cloud. So that could be definitely something unique. I don't think that Fantom's even listed on Coinbase yet. They got a lot of development coming up, the cheap gas fees. I kind of see it as being like the hub for DeFi, because, man, there's just so much that they can do, and they're EVM compatible. So enough about that. But I'm also looking at something that is, give me a second. Let's hit up my notes here. One second. Yeah, I'm looking for something that has high yield, low market cap, good developers. Oh my gosh, I got burned by that. Has utility and development, and has like sideways price action for a while. So in the charts, it's very easy to be like, wow, this is going up. This looks great. Well, guess what? You pay the price, because you can, the way how I see it is like you either get good emotion out of it because you're like, oh, price is going up. Oh, I feel good. But there's that price. You pay a price because you got limited upside, and it can always turn against you. So you may feel good, but then your funds may say something different. Now you can go against the trend and say, actually, I'm doing, it doesn't feel right. I'm very kind of nervous. I don't know, but you got some ideas in place, some price points. And you say, I'm just going to do it that way. Then you get, even though you feel bad, your wallet can say something different. Okay, not financial advice. So gotta be also aware that, yeah, with a lot of high yield can tank. It's just how it goes. So you gotta know what you're doing. Again, good developers, utility development, not just like, hey, you get high APR and then they just dump the token, right? They gotta have some sort of purpose. There's a lot of things that are coming out, and that's why I'm focusing on the DeFi space, because with the gaming cryptos and the play to earn, I don't have the time to balance between, okay, learning about DeFi, gaming cryptos, play to earn, the tokenomics, is this one good, is that one good, and then all these new projects are coming out, diluting the market. Now all of a sudden, I can't pick a good one, so I gotta focus. So, which one am I focusing on? Glad that you asked. Let's do this. I'm looking at Liquid Driver. I'm going to do some videos on it later. Let's just zoom out, take a look at the price. So this is what I'm talking about when I look at the charts, right? I mean, it had a major pump, had some like highs, but then just kind of went down, trading sideways. Even let's pull out this. I mean, you can take a look right here. It may break out of this trend line right about there. It's got high yield. I really like that. Very, very low market cap. So I got to do a video on this later. Let's see here. Even Rex Food Farmer, he talks about it and the benefits and the utilities behind this project. I like it, but again, this is just my personal preference. What I'm looking at, we're looking at a $7 million market cap. That is very, very low. To give you a sort of way of how to compare, you can see, you can go on CoinGecko and just simply look at, you know, the coins and sort by market cap. So to give you an idea, you know, Fantom starter, that one's 1,718. Whoa, that's really low. But it's just really close to, let's say here, like with Beethoven X, 1372. And that one has about 7 million. And then if you scroll up and you take a look at maybe some other projects that you may have heard of, such as Joe, this one has 294 million. So you can imagine the gap and the amount that has to grow. But again, a lot of tokens can always get dumped. So you got to know what you're doing. It's similar to buying maybe a used car. You want to find that gem. You don't want to find a lemon. And that's the whole name of the game. Because you can come out ahead if you know what you're looking for. And you're like, okay, why is this $8,000 below what it should be market value? Oh, it's been in 5 crashes and repossessed 4 times. Okay, maybe that's why. You know, but then again, you're like, okay, this is below market value. It's kind of been neglected. Why isn't anybody looking at it? And then you sift through some of the details. You're like, okay, yeah, that's a good enough reason. I think this is a gem. It's worth my investment, right? So that's how I'm looking at it. So Liquid Driver, I'll go over the reasons why later, but it's just high yield. They got a lot of development. I like the developers, low market cap on the Fantom side. I like what they're doing. So enough said about that. I'll talk about it in later videos. And actually, I was looking at Ohm Forks, and Ohm Forks have been taking a hit. I feel like there came out to be so many, and man, so many just went crazy. But we talk about the trend lines. See, this one right here, I'm looking at that as like a downward, and boom, it just popped out. And it is, even from this portion right here, it went down 65%. I'm getting high yield because it's an Ohm fork. So I have the price going up. The community really likes it because I see that all the time on Twitter. Like, what about Heck? What about Heck? What about Heck? I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. Like Hector, that type of deal. So for me, I think it's worth it, you know, because it bounced out here, and maybe if it goes back down here, I'll back out. I don't know, but this is more of a high yield play. I like Tomb and TSHARE because Harry Ye on the Fantom side, he's backing it. It's got a lot of utility coming up behind it, especially across different decentralized or different blockchains. And if you find out the right liquidity pool and use Reaper Finance or Grim Finance, you can auto compound crazy rates like 0.7% daily APR, which the APY is insane. You know, it's definitely taking a hit coming down. There's certain pegs and other stuff, but I don't know. I like Tomb, I like T-shares. Let's take a look at other things that have caught my attention. Maybe Boo because they're definitely coming down in price here. Let's just pull that bad boy up. Bam. Boo. So you can see here in price, decentralized exchange tokens, you're kind of like, I'm not sure, but you know, sometimes you look and you say that is really, you know, undervalued, perhaps like down 65%. They do a lot of transactions. Biggest DEX on Fantom. Number 2 that I actually really like is Spirit, and the whole fact that Spirit and Liquid Driver and the bribes and the kind of more of the the curve finance side coming on to them. Man, I see it as, and high APR, relatively speaking. I'm just looking at it and saying like that could be definitely a play as well. Forgive this trend line, for I have drawn poorly. So you can kind of see, get the idea. Look at that sideways action. So there's other projects that you can see that are going like up, and you're like, whoa, I definitely want to get in on this. I got that FOMO. One example is I'm looking at Thor, and this is not bashing on Thor. This is on the Avalanche side, and you know they come out with sales, and you know it's more of the node projects. But I'm just looking at straight from a chart perspective, right? I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, when would have been the best time to get in? I don't know, maybe here. That would have been real nice. Maybe even here. But now all of a sudden, here's the all-time high. It tried to break it, didn't get it, and now it's kind of like a trend line. So I have to kind of respect it. I gotta look where the puck is going to be in 2 weeks. Now it could be like passive income, but this is very high risk, high reward play. I already discussed how I got burned on some of the plays. I won't necessarily go into details exactly why. Just know that, hey, I got to do more research. I got to look, and I got to make better decisions. So it happens to all of us. I got to reposition that portfolio. But see, like, this is very tempting, especially when you see it go here and like, oh my gosh, it's going. But keep in mind, it can always come back down. So I'm looking for particular looks in charts right now. Again, and then I just look, I'm going for the lower market cap, but a trend in the chart. So I can even go on CoinGecko and take a look and say which one seems to reflect something that's healthy. Like, oh, okay, if this could get a little bounce right there, I would look good. And then I take a look and say, oh, that's Wonderland in Time. I definitely like that. I got that start, right? And then I can look here and I say, oh, it looks like Cetify is doing a little bounce right here. It's got a lot of room to run. You know, the trend is changing. Maybe right here I say, well, I missed it. What is it? Oh, Opolis. Yeah, I do like Opolis. And what else? This one looks like it's about to go. We talked about Spirit, right? So you can kind of see what I'm looking at and how I'm using the charts, how it looks like to help me out here. But I also got to keep in mind sometimes there are ones where it gets away from me, and I got to accept that. For example, right here, I look at Thor and like, bam, we talked about how, you know, got away. Look, that now it's already taken off. Here, a little bit earlier, it would have been a better time. Some people can say, yeah, well, don't worry, it's not too late. Get in. When it's like, So I was just talking about Liquid Driver, right? I was saying like, oh, could be coming. And then all of a sudden I look right here and I say, well, if I were to look at this chart in particular, even though I'm happy because I position myself in, maybe it's not the best time for you. You got to do you. You do you, boo. You find the project and the chart and your own strategy. I'm just sharing what I got here. When I look outside of the Fantom side, because I don't want to be tied down to specifically one chain, hopefully I can build up that portfolio, rotate some profits, maybe eagle, like locking in real hardcore, long time, and then shifting my funds. So that's a lot of explanation, but so you can give liquidity. Oh my gosh, this is going to be another video about liquidity. Too long, didn't watch. Liquidity is where you say, hey, I will temporarily give up my money to you so that other people can then do the trades that they want. And then as a result, I get rewarded. Now, there's some risk involved, but that's just how it works. So what you can do is that you can come on to eGold and do that for certain tokens and get some pretty good rates. And then what I'm thinking is maybe gain a lot of rewards, lock it in, permanently lock it in, essentially for like 2 years, 4 years, whatever it may be. Just let that bad boy auto compound, take my money, and chuck it somewhere else where people need my money. You know, kind of just... And then that's where Taiki comes in with being a yield farmer and don't marry your bags. And I need to watch more of his videos because he gives a lot of good information, and that's what I need to think about. At the same time, I'm looking at DeFi Kingdoms, and I'm on the fence, right? Because I'm looking at the chart, and it doesn't necessarily follow what I'm talking about. Like, a lot of people are hyped about it. They see a lot of great things coming for it. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But is that price baked into the chart already? You know what I'm saying? I want some more of that higher probability trades. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, okay, like what about the yields? But then some people are going to say like, well, yeah, but you know, they're coming out of different systems. They got these features coming in. So something that I have to take a look at and research more. But overall, yeah, I'm liking the Fantom side. That's how I'm positioning. I just got to try to play it smart, not get into charts when they look like this, where they're all like, oh my gosh, it's rocketing up. And then I get in, I'm like, oh yeah, man, look, I got even a 20% profit. And then boom. I'm looking at something that's more calm, chill, good project, low market cap, higher yield, and go from there. So for example, I can go here and just show, yeah, they got like that higher APR. It's a mixed bag of how that gets divvied up. However, you got to do the locking, and it depends on Fantom doing well. But again, these are just my strategies. If there was anything that I can talk about the high risk, high reward plays that I did that did not pan out, do I got anything to say about that? I would say that devs can definitely play a huge impact. It's underrated because obviously there can be rug pulls, but then there can also be situations where they just don't handle the situation correctly. Maybe there's something that got overlooked and people got, investors pay the consequences. It could be, they make a decision that just didn't pan out well. It's one of those things where you trust that the developers will do well, and the project goes according to plan. Maybe, there's a delay or two, and you just take that for granted. But when that does not happen out well, oh boy, oh boy, you feel the pain. So, sometimes it's just good to like trust the developers. Daniele, he's kind of like one of those people that he has a lot of projects and maybe the price doesn't reflect. But when there was a hack on Popsicle Finance, he tried to repay everybody and do everything and do the right thing and make it right and recover the price, etc. So those are the type of things that I look at. I'm kind of considering. And again, don't just go balls deep just because somebody says like, yo, this is gonna be 100x, you gotta follow, because a lot of times it could not pan out well, or the price action may go different, and then you're kind of just like blah. So that's my advice. These are my strategies moving forward. Why is my background blue ocean? I thought it looked cool. Can talk about liquidity, rolling in the deep. I don't know. Make whatever jokes you want. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Pieces.